Chapter 2 The New Devil on the Block Part 3. Naruto stood back as Kiba knocked on one of the sliding doors in the old school building. After a few seconds, a voice inside beckoned them to come in and he opened the door. The inside of the room was clearly a cleared out classroom. The floors were made of wood panels and there was a chalkboard hanging on the wall behind a desk. All of the student desks had been cleared out and in the center of the room was a chalk drawing of a large and overly complicated circle that Naruto could not make heads or tails from. He assumed it had something to do with this place being a club for the occult. Whatever that was. All around the room were items to help increase this image. He saw tables with candles and skulls on them. The chalkboard had strange symbols and writing. And over in the corner there was a very cute girl with white hair, sitting on a couch and munching on Japanese sweets. Wait, what? Naruto looked over at the little girl again. She looked very young. He knew that if she was going to high school she had to at least be 15. But with a slim, petite figure, and cute, Lolita face, she looked a year or two younger. She had hazel-colored eyes and her hair was a pure white color with two long bangs at the front that ran down past her shoulders and several loose bangs hanging over her forehead, while the back was cut in a short bob cut hairstyle. On either side of her hair were a pair of black, cat-shaped hair clips. She was also, Naruto noticed, incredibly cute, like some kind of cuddly mascot that he just wanted to pamper and pet. Maybe that was why she reminded him of a cat. Walking up to where the girl was sitting, Naruto sat down on the couch next to her and offered a bright smile. "Oh heyo, I'm Uzumaki Naruto." He offered his hand, which the girl didn't take and instead took her hands away and hid them on the other side. He noted she was clutching the plate with her Japanese sweets rather zealously. I'm not going to take your food, you know? I was just saying hi, Gomensei," the girl replied tonelessly. She relaxed her guard, at least a little. Naruto noticed she was still keeping the plate away from him. "Naruto-san." Kiba got the other blonde's attention. "This is Taoja Kaneko, first year academy student and member of the occult club. Kaneko-chan, this is Uzumaki Naruto. A pleasure to meet you, Naruto-senpai." Kaneko greeted, her voice still toneless. Naruto wondered about that, but shrugged it off. She was probably like Gaara that way, kind and compassionate, but preferred not to show it. Naruto's bright grin returned. "It's nice to meet you too." He reached up towards her. Kaneko flinched for a moment, clearly thinking he was going to take her sweets or something. That's what he thought she was thinking at any rate. A few seconds later, Kaneko was completely relaxed and purring as Naruto began to gently run his hands through her hair. He gave a mild chuckle. He was right. This girl was a lot like a cat. "It's good to see you getting along with your peers, Naruto-kun." Turning his head, Naruto did not stop his gentle ministrations as he watched Riss walk in with the Nadeshiko beauty behind her. Ara. "So you're Uzumaki Naruto-kun." The Nadeshiko girl smiled pleasantly as she clasped her hands together in front of her waist. She had a very nice smile. "My name is Imejima Akino. Please take care of me." Damn. What was the proper Japanese response for that? "Oh, right. Not at all. Please treat me well, Akino-senpai." Geez, these Japanese traditions were hard. And just why did they have such weird traditions anyways? The elemental nations never had to deal with all this etiquette crap. Or maybe it did. Naruto had never been one for etiquette back then, so he wouldn't know. Ara. Akino delicately held her hands to her face. "Such a cute little kohei I have. I think I might have to keep you." Was he supposed to respond to that? "Thanks, now that everyone is here, we can get started." Rias began as she made to stand in front of the table Naruto and Kaneko were sitting near. Kiba took a seat on the opposite couch while Akino went to make tea. "First off, welcome to the occult club, Naruto-kun. Good to be here." Naruto smiled politely. He looked over at everyone there before looking back at Rias. Am I to take it that all of you are devils? Very good, Naruto-kun. Rias congratulated Naruto and graced him with a gentle smile. Yes, all of us are devils. I see, Naruto said as Akino placed a cup of tea in front of him. Thank you, Ara. Akino smiled amusedly. Such a polite young man. You're welcome. Naruto stared at the raven-haired beauty for a second as she walked over to stand behind Rias, holding the tea tray to her bosom. He shook his head and picked up the cup of steaming liquid, lightly blowing on it before taking a drink. Normally, Naruto did not like tea, but it would be rude not to drink it. This is good, he complimented honestly after taking a small sip. He took another one as Akino smiled at him. Thank you. As he was about to take another sip, a hand tugged at his sleeve. Turning his head, he saw Kaneko staring at him with an imploring look. At least it was imploring Naruto. To anyone else, it would not look any different from her normally apathetic gaze. Naruto got his ability to read blank facial expressions from spending too much time with Gaara. Ah, right. Sorry about that. He set the teacup down and reached out with a hand to restart his gentle petting of the girl's hair. Kaneko melted, much to the amusement of the others. It seems he's already managed to earn the affection of at least one of us. Akino mused, then looked over at Rias. Or is it two of us? The president of the occult club frowned, but still responded. I will admit it. He's a very interesting individual. He seems to gather people around him very easily, even those who have just met him, with his open and friendly personality, including you maybe. You know, I'm still having a hard time believing all of you are devils. Naruto frowned. No offense, but all I can see are 3 very pretty girls and 1 blonde guy. Ah ha ha. Kiba laughed sheepishly at being referenced as one blonde guy. You're blonde too. You know, yes. But I'm new here. Naruto shot back. I can see why you would be skeptical, even though I already explained this. Rias said. But there is an easy way to prove what we are to you. Naruto watched with a raised eyebrow as Rias, Akino and Kiba all sprouted black bat wings from their back. He looked over at Kaneko, wondering if she would do the same. She didn't. But not because she couldn't. She was still experiencing bliss at his hand. You have wings too. You know. At that, Naruto turned his head slightly and saw that, yes, he did indeed have wings. 2 bat-like black wings were sprouting from his back. The blonde narrowed his eyes and focused on them, getting them to flap a bit before some more focus made them retract. Whoa, that was interesting. Okay, Naruto admitted, turning his attention back to Rias. So you guys are devils? Question. Ask away. Rias gestured for him to continue. Why are you telling me this and not Issei as well? I would have figured you would want him to be here too. Since, you know, you reincarnated him as well. Rias nodded her head as if she expected that question. Very true. And I have every intention of telling Issei soon. However, Rias' countenance darkened. I believe that Issei is being targeted. Targeted. Naruto narrowed his eyes and a calculating glint appeared within his normally friendly and open irises. I see. You're using him as bait to find out who's targeting him. If he knew about all of this, he would be more wary, thus not reacting in a predictable manner. In other words, you need him to not know anything until you find out who is after him so that you can catch his assailants in the act. Exactly. Rias smiled brightly at the blonde. You really are quite smart, eh? Naruto used his free hand to scratch the back of his head sheepishly. Not really. I'm just good at reading between the lines. You know, looking underneath and all that. Well, I for one am impressed with how easily you managed to figure out my plan on so little information. Naruto flushed at the praise as Rias continued complimenting him. It takes a keen mind to think up such conclusions so easily, I guess. Naruto mumbled, coughing a bit. He tried to get back on track. So, Who exactly is after Issei? Ria's countenance became incredibly serious, forcing Naruto to do the same. Which really just made him look kind of ridiculous because by now Kaneko had taken to laying her head on his lap as he stroked and petted her head. One of our greatest enemies, Ria said with the utmost seriousness. A group known as the Fallen Angels. Issei left his friend's house feeling even more depressed than before. It seemed not even watching his favorite pornos could lift his spirits up. He had been so sure that the blonde kid he saw with Ria Senpai the other day would have known who Yuma was. He was there when it happened. Hell, he had even saved him. Well, he tried to save him. Issei still ended up taking a light spear to the gut. But it was the thought that counted. Right? But no. When Issei confronted Naruto, the boy claimed to not know a thing. How depressing was that? To see the person who tried to save you not even remember what happened or remembered about the girl he tried saving you from? Maybe it was just him, but the thought made Issei extremely depressed. Did no one remember Yuma? As he continued to walk down the street to his house and sulk, a strange feeling came over him. It was sort of like that feeling he got when he was about to be beaten by a horde of angry teenage girls, only different. It was much more sinister and made his body shiver as a chill crept over him. How unfortunate. Issei blinked, then turned around. Walking into the light of a street lamp was a middle-aged looking gentleman with short black hair and dark blue eyes. He wore an outfit that consisted of a pale violet trench coat over a white dress shirt with a matching ascot, black pants and shoes, and a black fedora. To actually bump into someone like you in a place like this. The man traced his fingers along the rim of his fedora. Issei stared at the man dumbly. What the hell was this idiot talking about? Not wanting to stick around any longer, and feeling more than a little on edge around this guy, Issei did what he felt was the most prudent thing at the time. He turned around and bolted like a bat out of hell. Trying to run away, the man taunted. Tell me, who is your master? What the hell was this guy talking about? Master? He had no master. Issei didn't bother answering the obviously deranged man and simply focused on running. If he traveled far enough, fast enough, he should be able to lose the guy. Teenagers such as himself had more energy than old farts like that guy, right? Did you really think I would let you run away? Issei's eyes widened as he stumbled forward, just barely catching his balance, then turned around. The man he had tried to lose stood in front of him, only he was different than the last time Issei had seen him. He had wings. Black angel wings. Just like Yuma. Tell me who your master is, the man demanded. When Issei didn't answer, namely because he didn't know what the hell this lunatic was talking about, the man frowned. Or perhaps you're the stray? I can't detect any traces of your master on you, so you must be a stray. In that case, killing you will not be a problem. The man held out his hand and a bright light started to emit from it, which Issei realized with a start he had seen happen before. He should remember that light. It was the same light Yuma had made right before she ended up killing him. As expected, a spear of light appeared in the man's hand. Issei turned to run, knowing he had to get out of here before he was killed. Perhaps if he ran far enough, he could lose to this strange man with wings like Yuma. He didn't get very far before he could even run a meter from where he had been. An incredible pain erupted from his stomach. Issei looked down to see the cause, not surprised one bit to find he had a shaft of the light spear sticking out of his gut. This was the second time he had been stabbed by one of these light things in 2 days. What the hell? Coughing, Issei tried to pull the light spear out, only to feel more pain surge through him as his hands were literally burned by the light. You can't pull it out, can you? The man behind him taunted. He grabbed Issei by the head with one hand, grinning like a madman. Light spears like this are deadly poison for creatures like you. Would you like me to help you pull it out without warning? The man ripped the light spear out of Issei's stomach through his back. If the pain he felt from getting it shoved in him in the first place was incredible, Then the pain of having the spear pulled out was indescribable. Nothing could have prepared him for the agony he felt now. I apologize for giving you such pain. Issei just barely heard as he held a hand to the gaping hole in his stomach. He just barely managed to crawl over to a wall where he felt his life fading again for the second time. Sadly, it looks like I missed your vital organs. I'll be more accurate next time. This time, I'll definitely kill you just before the middle-aged man could throw his light spear at Issei. A loud voice interrupted him. Dynamic entry. The last thing Issei saw was the strange man with the black wings getting smashed in the face by an orange and black blur. Naruto grinned as he landed on his feet after sending the fallen angel with the fedora flying. That felt good. Really good. If there was one thing Uzumaki Naruto enjoyed doing more than anything else, it was kicking jabroni ass. It was something he liked to think he excelled in. Standing up, the blonde held his left hand in front of his face and clenched it into a fist. It was small, barely a trickle compared to the vast ocean it had been, but he could feel it. Chakra. His chakra was returning. Even if the amount he could use was only on par with that of a relatively powerful genin, it was still enough to cause him fits of joy. It was also the reason he had managed to get here so quickly. Who the hell are you? Naruto looked up to see the fedora man glaring at him as he held the right side of his face. The young Uzumaki was pleased to see a very large, very ugly bruise had formed on the guy's face where he had hit him. Grinning like a loon, Naruto pointed at the man. I'm the guy who's gonna kick your ass if you don't leave the kid alone, and I am going to help him. Smiling, Naruto turned around to see Rias standing protectively over the no longer conscious Issei. Rias, I'm glad you were able to keep up. Your speed did surprise me, Rias admitted, causing him to rub the back of his head and grin widely at the redhead. But please, do not run off like that again. She gave him a sweet smile that made his insides feel all warm and tingly. I would hate it if you ended up getting hurt, Naruto-kun. Ahahe. Naruto felt himself feel a strange mixture of embarrassment and pleasure. Sorry, I just felt the strange energy this guy was giving off and had to see what was up. He looked over at the guy in the fedora. For some reason, this strange energy he has makes me feel nervous. I'm not surprised you can feel it, Ria said. Your senses are quite sharp. That feeling you get is because of what he is. Fallen angels are a natural enemy of devils. The unease you feel around this man is your instincts as a devil kicking in. Good to know. That red hair, the fedora wearing a fallen angel murmured. I see. You wouldn't happen to be part of the Gremory clan, would you? That's right, Ria said, smirking at the fallen angel. She absently used her hand to flip some of her hair behind her head in a display of haughty elegance that only a member of royalty like her could pull off. I am Rias Gremory. It's a pleasure to meet you, Fallen Angel-san. And I'm going to have to ask that you stop hurting Issei here. So that's one of your underlings. The man tried to look nonchalant as he fingered the rim of his hat, with the large bruise on his face now beginning to swell. It didn't really work out. Please don't leave your servant unattended like that. Someone like myself might bump into him while accidentally taking a walk and think he's a stray that needs to be put down. Thank you for the advice. Rias cast him an amused smirk before her expression turned serious. She narrowed her eyes and placed her hands on her hips. But perhaps you should be taking your own advice. This city is under my jurisdiction. If you interfere in my business or try to hurt one of my cute little slaves again, I may have to take more drastic actions. Whoa, Naruto murmured, his eyes squinting. This is like one of those old-fashioned standoffs. I've seen shit like this before. All we need now is a giant snake demanding sacrifices, a sake drinking toad, and a very polite slug, and we'll have a classic standoff. What? Riz shook her head at Naruto while the fedora wearing fallen angel decided to pretend the boy had never spoken. It was safer for his sanity that way. With a large flap of his wings, he took off to the skies, leaving only a parting comment in his wake. The same goes for you, heiress to the Gremory family. My name is Donaseek. Pray that we never meet again, especially you, brat. Oh, I Naruto shouted to the sky. I am not a brat. You take that back, you flying sack of bird feathers, don't bother shouting. Naruto-kun, Rias said calmly as she turned around to assess how badly Issei was damaged. He's already gone. Naruto grumbled insults under his breath. Rias could not hear all of it, but what she did catch showed the breadth and width of his vocabulary. It was most impressive. It was also very disturbing. Rias did not want to know what he planned on doing to Donosike with several dozen gallons of tar, rubbing alcohol and a rubber duck. She really didn't. At least now we know the fallen angels really are after Issei. Naruto sighed. Yes. Rias nodded in agreement. Which means we can plan accordingly. Do you need any help here? Asked Naruto, gesturing over to the unconscious boy with a hand. I'm not much of a healer, but I know the basics required to be a field medic. At the very least he could stitch the kid up. That will not be necessary, Rias said, giving him a smile. But thank you for the offer. Naruto couldn't help but smile back. Anytime. Naruto sighed as he collapsed onto his bed. Today has been a rather exhausting day. He found out that he and the pervert had been reincarnated as devils, and that he was now bound to Rias as a member of her peerage. That last part actually didn't seem so bad. As far as masters went, he could definitely do a lot worse. Then there was that whole incident with Issei getting stabbed through the stomach by a fallen angel again. That kid seemed to be an even bigger magnet for trouble than he was. Naruto used to think his luck was shitty when it came to danger. His first C rank mission had turned into an A rank, and the rest of his career was filled with fighting S-class criminals and giant demons. But seriously, getting stabbed twice within a 2-night time span was just screwed up. That kid must have the worst karma ever. Thinking about Issei and his stab wound made Naruto remember that Rias had said she was going to take the pervert home and heal him. That made him remember how she had healed him the other night. Wait, he said out loud to the empty room. Does that mean Rias is going to heal Issei the same way she did me? God's hope not. That would just not be cool. He didn't like the fact that Rias was going to be using her nude, vivacious body to heal that pervert. Who knows what he might do to her when he wakes up. Not everyone had as much self-restraint as he did. And that Issei kid was a lot like Jiraiya in how open he was about his perverseness. If I found out he did anything to Rias, I'll kill him. It wasn't jealousy he was feeling, Naruto assured himself. They had just met, so he didn't have any feelings for her. He just didn't want anything to happen to the girl who had saved his life. Nothing more. He could keep thinking that. Whatever helped him sleep at night.